Hey class, welcome to our second module. Let me commend each of you for a job well done in our first week. We often have those first week jitters when we start a new class, but everyone seems to have done quite well. So I commend each of you for doing such a good job this week. Week one on the discussions, the blogs, and the assignments. If you're not familiar or comfortable with the blogs, they're a little bit different to do. I'd encourage you to continue to work on those, continue to work on those discussions. Please remember that it's important not only to post that first discussion, but you got to reply twice. I'd like to see those extended discussions in order for you to get those full points. Don't just write one or two sentences that doesn't have very much information. It's important to follow that grading rubric and those instructions when you do that initial post, as well as those replies. Really take some extra time. Doesn't take an extra 30 seconds to a minute to really develop a really good discussion, an initial post, and then two replies, and then follow that instructions and those grading rubrics to get those additional points to make sure that you get an A on the assignment. Let's move on to our second module, if you don't mind. In module 2, just a quick overview. This week we're going to assess the relationship between the nature and the history of the law. We'll take a look at how each of these relate to modern day laws established in the Western culture societies such as the United States. We will examine the relationship between morality, law, religion, and hopefully gain a better understanding about how each of these concepts enhance our ethics and ethical decision making in the criminal justice profession. Really this week, beyond that historical overview of the law and the ethics, this module is also going to introduce various codes of conduct and oaths that will be important for the rest of the course. We'll tie that in. What's interesting about this course is as we move forward, we also look back. Everything that we do in the future, ties back to that first module, which is sort of our baseline. So as you look at each one of these, consider your last module, and then as we move to the next module, that will all work together and tie in, and you'll hopefully have a real good understanding of what we're doing in the class. I hope you're enjoying the class. Try not to make it too challenging for you. I hope it's a good class, and I hope you enjoy it. Looks like everyone is doing real well with the discussion, so again, I commend you on that. Our objectives this week, to outline the historical precedents to the American system of criminal law and the rule of law, explain the relationships between religion, morality, ethics, and law. So in our overview, as I mentioned in our announcement, we're going to go back and take a look at some of the codes. Modern law can be traced back to 2100 before the Common Era. There's various codes that related to civil liability, compensation for accidents and injuries. Some of the things that we saw in the past, way back then, it's similar to what we see today in our American legal system. So we're based on some of that code. As we move forward in history, during Babylon, 1792, before the Common Era, we saw another code that was established. And then as we've moved on, these codes have changed throughout history. Now, we like to reflect on Rome. The United States is patterned to a degree based upon some of the things that happened in ancient Rome. So we will also visit and see how during the Roman Empire the law was based upon the 12 Tables, which was written about 450 BCE, or before the Common Era. And then as the emperors changed, we saw the Justinian Code, which addressed civil and criminal situations, including specific situations regarding personal possessions, crimes, and contract law. We have contract law today, and that is a very strong law in many states. Now, what we do in the United States, though, is we use a system of laws based upon English common law. Okay, common law was established around 1066 CE, which is the Common Era, as a result of the merging of Saxon laws and then local laws. So there was a lot of local laws, local rules, which we still have today in municipal government, township, boroughs, etc. but all of those during that time were independent. The Saxon law and the local laws were merged to become one law there for the land. And today we have one law for our land, even though the municipalities and the states have their own sets of laws, they still have to be constitutional. Now, something that I mentioned in the announcement, we see in Louisiana, the laws are a little bit different. Those are based upon Napoleon. Napoleon Bonaparte, who was a ruler of France, that was Louisiana. He owned Louisiana, and of course, y'all guys probably know about the Louisiana Purchase. So those laws were based upon everything that happened in France, and then today we can see that today as it continues on. It's interesting that the other parts of the Louisiana Purchase that were part of France then did not continue on with those laws. They used English common law. For instance, where I live, it was part of the Louisiana Purchase, but everything is based upon English common law along with the rest of the United States. And when you get into Canada and some of those other countries like Canada, we have some similar situations there, like Quebec, for instance. Some of the laws are based upon Napoleon and his code. We will continue to explore that. The other provinces in Canada, that's English common law. So it's very interesting how the law has been adopted, how it's progressed throughout history, and how that relates to what we do there in public safety and in criminal justice and enforcement of the law. So we will continue to move forward with that and hopefully learn a great deal about some of those different codes. Religion and law is important. In ancient communities, they were grounded and governed by customs instead of written laws. Typically, these were passed down from family members and church leaders. We still have some, church law, if you will, now. If we take a look at religion, if you use the Bible or any other religion that you practice, we still have some laws that we practice there today that we have to follow if you are a member of a religious community, whatever that may be. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't follow the law of the land. We just have some different codes and things that we live by there with religion and the law. So it's very interesting how that's tied in, similarities and differences, and I hope that you notice that and have some discussion on that. Last week we talked about the oath. This week we talked about the law enforcement code of ethics. Some of you mentioned that last week. We'll continue to discuss that this week as well. Essentially, the code requires us members to do the right thing at the right time in the right way. Okay, this includes safeguarding the public, property, the less fortunate, ensuring that everyone is treated equally and fairly under the law. Now, sometimes the public doesn't believe that. They don't think we're doing the right thing. You'll have some opportunities to discuss that this week, and I'd encourage you to expand upon those discussions and the things that we have this week to make sure that you include a great deal about the law enforcement code of ethics and what you believe is right and wrong there. Okay, we all have different opinions, so how do we know what is the right thing at the right time in the right way? Do we always know that? Personally, I believe that goes back to your character and what you practice. Others may have an opinion there that's different from mine, and that's absolutely fine. I like to see people disagree with me and share your opinions and let me know what you're thinking so that we can have a very good discussion. Now, as we move forward this week, it's important to remember, in addition to our discussion, which is on the foundations of law, which I just mentioned, we also have our final project milestone 2. You're going to submit your first milestone of your final project. And please take a look at the milestone 2 guidelines and rubric, which is located in the assignment guidelines and rubric section here for our course. So basically what you're going to do is give me some idea about what you're going to discuss there on the final. Okay. Rating the right resources. This week we have in our textbook Criminal Law Today, pages 1 through 38. If you're not reading the textbook, guys, and you purchased a textbook and you're not reading it, waste of money. If you're not reading, I encourage you to read the textbook. It is a very good textbook. We took a good hard look at which textbook was going to be used for the class, and we found that this was probably one of the best textbooks out there because it gives us a balance and an overview of our course. So please take time to read the textbook. It will help you throughout the course. It helps you throughout the final and other things that we have to do in our modules. A couple library readings: surrender unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto God that which is God's. And then legislation and morality, a police officer's ethical dilemma. Please take time to look at these. It will help you with the discussions and the blogs and your final and everything that we have to do. Okay, so I wanted to give you just a little bit overview of what we were doing this week. I don't want to take a lot of your time. Everyone's busy and we all have something to do, but I did want to take a few moments and share what we've done in the past and look into the future, and just thank you for taking the course and tell you how much I appreciate you taking the course and how impressed I am about your work. What can I do to make your job in class as a student easier at SNHU? Reach out to me and let me know what I can do to make your journey here much better. Okay, I'm here for you 24/7, 365. You can reach out to me if you ever have any questions or comments. I prefer you email me first so that I can send it back to you. Sometimes I'm in a meeting or in a position where I can't answer the phone, but if you send me an email or a text message, I can reply to that rather quickly. If you need me immediately, you can always call me. And I will do everything that I can to work with you, with your advisor to help you get through the course. So thank you very much for taking time to dedicate as much time and energy as you're putting into the course. If you do that throughout the rest of the class, what I've seen in Module 1, I think everyone will finish with an A. And again, I'm highly impressed with all your work. So keep rocking on. If you have any questions, give me a call, send me an email. I encourage you to do that. Thank you very much for your time, and let's have a good week. Let's rock.